Now, in 2014, the EU's top court said we all had a right to be forgotten. That meant that you could ask internet giants like Google to delete items about you online. There's one or two I could happily see removed, I can say that for sure. Well, a new machine learning startup called Mind says it will launch in the UK to enable people to enforce that right by helping them find and then request the removal of their personal data. Its CEO and co-founder, Gal Ringel, joins me now. Gal, welcome to you. So how does this technology work?
So thank you for having me, Ian. So we all use online services every day and we share our personal data, but do we actually know how many companies are holding our personal data, or do we actually feel that we own our personal data? This is what we solved at Mind. We allow people to take ownership of their personal data online and to give them a choice. We developed a friendly and simple app, and in less than 30 seconds, you can discover all the companies that are holding your personal data. And then you can exercise your right to be forgotten with a click of a button and from any company, and we will make it happen for you.
And your service is free, so how do you ultimately plan to make money from this business?
So we want to make it simple to the user, and we're going to introduce a subscription model in the near future.
But I mean, so it's something that you see users using again and again rather than on a one-off basis then?
So we discovered that the average footprint actually consists of 350 companies that hold the average user-sensitive data. And this number keeps growing by 8 new companies a month.
Goodness.
So our personal data is highly dynamic, and we keep sharing our data every day.
So this is not only Google, it's also the likes of Amazon, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these big social media companies.
Every online interaction that we are doing on a daily basis, like signing up to a new service or buying a product online, we leave traces about us, which are collected by companies. We help you find them all and reclaim back anything you want.
So what made you launch the business?
So I'm coming from a cybersecurity background, and I've seen personal data from all around, and we know how personal data is valuable to people. And when we saw the GDPR that coming into force in Europe, we decided, hey, we want to make it accessible to the average person.
What about if I had a criminal record or a dodgy background and I wanted to get all that cleared off the internet? I mean, that's a danger that your service gets misused in that way, isn't it?
So currently, we're not dealing with the data that is out there online. If you search yourself within Google, we follow your personal data that you left behind within companies, and we let you take it back.
Do you think people are right to be suspicious about how their data is used?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, should someone using your service, presumably they're doing so because they are uneasy about the way their data is being used?
So we don't feel that way. Actually, we want to give people the way to control their personal data and to have a choice to decide what companies can still collect their data and what companies can't.
Now, obviously, a big driver for this in Europe certainly has been the GDPR legislation that came through. Do you think the UK is going to want to keep GDPR in place once it's left the EU? I've seen suggestions that it might not.
So actually, the Brexit wouldn't affect the UK citizens. Actually, the UK authority called the ICO is actually even more strict than the EU policies. And so the Brexit wouldn't affect that, and the UK regulator is doing a really good job in providing the regulation to help the UK citizens.
All right, not very often we hear a kind word for regulators on this programme. Gal Ringel, very good to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much, Ian.